Welcome back to the Misty and Ike morning program, everybody.
Welcome back, Isaac.
Welcome back, Misty.
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm spacey today.
Are you? Me
Yes.
too. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm nerdy today.
Yeah, we're getting nerdy with it because today is in 1957 was the official first launch of the Sputnik.
Yep.
We're going to learn all about it after this.
Are we ready to begin?
My name is Misty.
Come on, Ike, it's time.
We would be honored if you would join us.
The greatest adventure of all time.
We just become best friends. Yep.
Come on, let's get in character.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Oh, come on!
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Today is Sputnik Day.
It is Sputnik Day.
1957. That was many years ago.
So, I mean, I've heard about Sputnik my whole life, but never really known that much about it because it was pre-Misty. I was not born for quite a few years after that.
PM.
Pre-Misty.
Pre-Misty.
Which also could be post-Misty as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's PS. It's post-Sputnik. Pre-Misty.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I didn't realize what a big deal Sputnik was in the basically the technology wars between the United States and Russia.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, 1957, October 4th, the Soviet Union launched the Earth's, I'll say Earth because I believe that there are other Earths out there, other planets.
I too believe.
That do stuff. It was the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1.
Yeah.
The launch came as a big shock to experts and citizens of the U.S. who had hoped that the U.S. would accomplish this scientific advancement before anyone else. Mm-hmm. So the fact that the Soviets were successful fed fears that the U.S. military had fallen behind in developing new technology. So as a result, the launch of Sputnik served to intensify the arms race and the Cold War.
We have on this show spoken about Sputnik before.
We have.
But it was in reference to Sputnik 2 and the dog that went up with it.
Yes.
But we're not going to talk too much about
No,
that.
because it makes me sad.
Now, this particular Sputnik was only 23 inches in diameter. Diameter. And it weighed 184 pounds.
I can't believe it's so little. Like, that to me sounds incredibly, incredibly little when I think about something going up into space.
At 500 miles up, it was at the speed of 18,000 miles an hour, which is the speed of an orbit. Like the space station is currently moving at 18 or 19,000 miles an hour.
Right.
It circled the globe every 96 minutes, making 1,440 orbits around the Earth before beginning its re-entry. And it had to burn up on re-entry.
So it's kind of like we went from the Sputnik, that was this big, and then we did all this advancement, and then we shut down NASA for a while, or defunded NASA, and then we refunded NASA, and now we're back down to like drone-sized things. It's like we started small, we got ginormous, and then we went back down to like, let's see how small we can make it again.
Let's find out how
It seems to me like it's much simpler to launch something that's super tiny than something that's big and giant.
This is interesting. I typed in how many satellites does Earth have, and it says 20 satellites. So that must mean.
Interesting.
However, in 2021, almost 850 satellites have been launched, as marked by the end of April, which is 66.25% of 2020.
What?
This isn't making any sense.
I don't understand. So are there 20 things that are out there still?
No, there's hundreds. There's 104 satellites that are up for science and observation. This is stupid.
Like, I don't understand.
So I think we have to quantify this a little bit. What's the big
giant letters that say 20 satellites? Like, what does that refer to?
I don't know. That might be things other than the moon that are naturally orbiting.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I don't know that to be a fact.
No, but that would make sense.
Here's better numbers.
Okay.
According to Union of Concerned Scientists, the UCS, which keeps a record of operational satellites. There are 6,542 satellites, out of which 3,372 satellites are active and 3,170 satellites are inactive.
So there's just stuff out there floating that's not doing anything.
Tons, which gets us into the space debris debate because people throw stuff up there.
Yeah.
So whatever was orbiting the Earth for your pager in the 90s is
still up
deactive.
there and like just floating around like trash.
Yeah, but like
Space
cellular,
trash.
there's cell satellites up there that are, there's internet satellites. There's all
Do
kinds
you
of
think we
stuff.
could tap into one and make it do stuff?
Yeah. You want me to blast this place with the laser real quick?
Yeah. Like, is that, could we build some kind of computer system that could communicate with one of those old pieces of space trash?
And turn it back on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet they could all be rebooted. Whoa. And it's like in the movies where like, oh, this is just a communications satellite. And then like there's war and like all the communications.
Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop,
And then there's just rockets in there that
Right.
are aimed at the Earth.
Right.
Ugh. So,
Interesting.
in 2020, 1,283 satellites were launched, which stands as the highest number of satellite launches in a year as compared to all the previous. However, in 2021, almost 850 satellites have been launched, as marked by I just already read that. So yeah, you just keep on launching.
Okay. So this is really interesting to me because you said 184 pounds. And I was like, wow, that's super small.
Mm-hmm.
At 184 pounds, that satellite was much heavier than anything that the United States was developing at the time.
Oh, wow.
So in their minds at that time, that was enormous to send something up that's 184 pounds.
Yeah.
So when it launched successfully, they followed that up very, very quickly with 2 additional satellites, which was Sputnik 2, the one that carried the dog into space, and then another. Together, these orbited the Earth every 90 minutes and created fear that the United States was lagging far behind in technological capability. That was only compounded when the United States learned that the Soviet Union was also testing the first intercontinental ballistic missile that year.
Uh-huh.
So basically, Russia was beating our ass in this space race.
Mm-hmm.
And arms war, definitely, which was really terrifying at that point.
Yeah.
So Dwight D. Eisenhower was president at the time when this happened, and he tried to downplay all of it, like the Sputnik launch to the American people. But in the background, he poured all kinds of additional money and resources into the space program in an effort for us to catch up.
Yeah.
The U.S. government, however, suffered a pretty big setback in December when its first artificial satellite named Vanguard exploded on the launch pad. Served as a very visible reminder of how much the country had yet to accomplish. At last, in January of 1958, the United States launched its first satellite, the Explorer. It was a little bit lighter than Sputnik, but its launch sent deeper into space. And then the Soviets responded with yet another launch. And basically this just went back and forth. And that was what was the space race. Like it was us, we would do something, and then Russia would do something. And then we would go, well, now we have to top that, and we would do something else. And then they would go, oh, well, we have this in the bag already. Boom, send that up. And that had a big part in the Cold War.
Do you want to see a picture of what all the satellites look like?
Yeah, do we know what Sputnik looked like?
Oh, well, yeah, Sputnik. We have pictures of Sputnik.
I want to know what Sputnik looked like.
Sputnik looked like this. It's this ball right here with the 4 what tethered rods coming off of it. But here is what all of the 6,000 satellites look like buzzing around the world.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
It's pretty nuts, which got me thinking, Elon Musk is going up there and Bezos is going up every
Richard
day.
Branson.
Yeah. So how do they not hit each other? Because they're all moving at 18,000 miles an hour. And then when they're launching a NASA shuttle, how do they know at the little hole that they're going up, that they're not going to hit one of these 6,000 things.
I imagine it to be very much like air traffic control at an airport.
You would think so, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there are, I mean, I'm sure that NASA has paths of all of these satellites.
Right. But what about the 3,000 inactive ones that aren't really sending information anymore?
I'm sure that they have positioning of all the space trash and where
Yeah.
it's at. And
So-
they just plan the route to avoid all of those things.
That got me thinking, if you're on the International Space Station,
Yeah. Which is
all the,
so cool.
Yeah, all the pictures you see are just, oh, it's cool. But if you're gazing out the window, it's a very high probability that you're seeing a ton of satellites
Yeah. Oh,
buzzing
yeah.
around.
And space trash.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're all going in the same direction. Like
I mean-
it's like a wave pool, right? Everybody's kind of just drifting around in
Yeah.
the same circle.
Right.
If they were going opposite of each other,
I don't think they can.
sure they can.
I mean, yeah, but you wouldn't plan out your trip. Like you wouldn't, like I said, I look at it like air traffic control at an airport. Like there are only certain directions that you can go based upon what is already existing up there and plans for other airplanes, like you wouldn't, it's not like they just make a decision when they're up there in the air of which direction they're going. That is all plotted out so far in advance.
Right, 100%. But it seems like if you have them rotating against each other,
But
then
why would you do that? Why would you want to have them rotate against each other?
Well, they're not all just on the same plane either. So sometimes
Right.
they're going this and that.
Yeah.
So this says satellites and other spacecraft can orbit with the rotation of the Earth in the opposite direction of the Earth's rotation or in any other direction. Usually satellites orbit in the direction of Earth's rotation, but there are some satellites that travel in the opposite direction.
Why would you want them to travel in the opposite direction?
It
Though?
seems
That's
like
what I
there's
want to
a
know.
much higher collision opportunity.
Absolutely. Who wants to get into a space accident?
Space incidents.
I don't want to get into a space accident. I do want to say something, though, about a meme that I saw that made me laugh so hard. And it was, during the time that all the bajillionaires were launching themselves up into space. And it said, what if UFOs are just alien billionaires from other planets?
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Because our billionaires, of course, launching themselves up into space, and the aliens are like, what is this fucking guy doing? Well,
Yeah.
what if aliens are just billionaires from other planets launching themselves here?
I saw one of my more space and astrological friends go on TikTok the other day.
Astrological?
Astrological.
Okay.
The stars and stuff.
Okay.
What did you think astrological meant?
No, that is what it means. It's just that that's usually not tied in incredibly. Like when you think
There are
astrological, you're like, oh,
it's that, and this person also likes space.
okay.
So sorry, my phone's going off. And she was saying that aliens have only come here to help us. Like when we were in a big nuclear wars, they shut stuff down. They're just trying to get us to stop killing each other.
There are
aliens.
many, many people that believe that
Yeah.
that aliens are every bit as intelligent, if not more intelligent than us, and have been around longer than us.
Right.
And so understand we're relatively new. And
Yeah.
so they look at us and go, don't make the mistakes of our past. We've already
Yeah.
learned from these things and progressed, light years ahead of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to come and try and set you on the right path so that
Yeah.
you don't blow up your planet
Or burn it.
or burn it to
Or
the
destroy
ground.
it.
Right, which we're doing.
I was
Yeah, no,
listening
there's
to
a pretty large contingent of people that think that that's the point of any alien interception or interactions that
Yeah.
we've had.
well, we got half a minute left, so let's do a
Well-
speed round on some facts.
Okay, hit me.
Timeline
What
of the
you got?
space race.
Okay.
1957, USSR launches Sputnik 1, man's first artificial satellite. 1958, USA launches Explorer 1, its first satellite, discovers Van Allen radiation belts circling Earth. 1959, USSR's Luna 2 makes hard lunar landing. I guess that means it just slammed into the moon. 1959, USSR's Luna 3 takes pictures of the dark side of the moon.
So cool.
1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin is first man to orbit Earth. Man, they really did kick our ass.
They kicked our ass.
1962, American astronaut John Glenn orbits Earth. 1962, USA's Mariner 2 passes within 1,250 miles of Venus.
Some might call it Mariner too.
That's right. What did I say? Mariner?
Mariner.
Reader, chicken dinner. 1963, the laser is invented.
Yeah, laser beams.
1964, the IBM 360 is introduced and quickly becomes the standard institutional mainframe computer. My dad worked on it.
Cool.
Or on one of them. 1965, Soviet cosmonaut becomes first man to walk in space. 1966, USSR's Luna 9 makes first soft landing on moon. 1966, USA's Surveyor 1 makes soft lunar landing. That'd be interesting if it's like, those are basically drones.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unmanned deals.
Exactly. Yep.
1967, USA's Mariner 4 takes the first close-up photos of Mars. 1967, USA's Mariner 5 passes within 6,000 miles of Venus. And in 1969, American astronaut Neil Armstrong is the first man to walk on the moon, accompanied by Edwin Aldrin.
Buddy, Buzz Aldrin.
Yep.
Badass MFer.
So they beat us to a lot of the firsts, but we were the first to walk on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well.
Which, speaking of mispronouncing things, JFK Jr. was that?
Junior.
Yeah.
Okay.
He mispronounces decayed. He's like.
He's been dead for a real long time.
No, but when he's talking about going to the moon. And
It's JFK, not JFK Jr.
Whatever.
JFK Jr. is the son who died in the plane accident with his wife in the 90s.
Whichever JFK was the president that got his head blown off in Texas. Yeah, okay, great. That dude was like, we promised to go to the moon in this decade or the next.
Yes.
So we have something in common.
He pronounced a lot of things very interestingly.
Yeah, and no one.
If you listen to any of his speeches.
Who would ever correct him?
Well, it was all done for impact. It was the intonation of his voice and
decayed.
All
right,
right,
folks.
well,
that's Sputnik and satellites and
Sputnik and satellites.
Sputnik and satellites.
Sputnik and satellites.
Tomorrow's episode is going to be about
learning. Teachers.
Movie teachers. Shit. Sorry.
Okay.
How long was it on that screen? Great.
Not very long.
Okay, cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.